Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Full spoilers for Alien Romulus. Full spoilers. The director, Fede Alvarez, has come out with an interview with Entertainment Weekly and discussed resurrecting an individual from Alien for his movie. Kind of resurrecting, I guess. So I've warned you, full spoilers. He's come out and discussed bringing back Ian Holmes' character. Ash. It wasn't Ash, they didn't bring back Ash. But they brought back the same model of android. And he was known as Rook in this film. So it makes sense from an in-universe perspective that Weyland-Yutani would have mass-produced these synthetics. These science-based synthetics. Right? With all the necessary AI and knowledge required of them. Mass-produced them, given them individual names, like one of them was Ash, one of them was Rook, and so on and so forth, and stationed them in various places. It's not great, how it's done. However, for me, I did settle into it in the film, and Fede Alvarez said he approached it in a really respectful way. His contacted the family and things like that. So I thought we'd take a look because it's an interesting conversation from their perspective, why they did it. And you can see here, it says, how Alien Romulus resurrected that character from the original film. So again, full spoilers, right? Androids are a constant in the Alien franchise. Every film has at least one synthetic character that processes the plot's events in a more calculating manner than the frightened humans alongside them. And you can usually identify them by the milky goo that spurts from their veins instead of blood. Several alien androids have recurred in different versions across films. Lance Henriksen's Bishop features in both Aliens and Alien 3. And also Henriksen would then play, Peter Weyland, or a version of Weyland later down the line. So Michael Fassbender's David, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, with the actor also taking on a dual role as Walter as well. It says here, but when Alien Romulus director Fede Alvarez and producer Ridley Scott, who also directed 3 previous films of the franchise, blah, 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 were planning the newest installment, they had an important realization. And so here's Alvarez saying, historically, there's just a limited amount of synthetics. And that's why some come back a few times. And that makes sense. So it's not, he's talking historically in universe, which is what I like to hear from a writer and a director playing in the franchise I love. I like to hear that they're aware of the sort of restrictions of the universe. But also around that period of time, Weyland-Yutani would have only had a few synthetics. They wouldn't have had a lot, they'd have had a few. Andy was one of the first synthetics, David Johnson's character. He was one of the first synthetics mass-produced by Weyland-Yutani, sent off-world to help miners. And then there's the more scientific-based ones. Clearly the ones which Ash and Rook are. Rook may even be a slight upgrade over Ash. We don't know. But it says here, so we were talking and Ridley and I felt like the one that has never been back was the best one of them all. The original model played by Ian Holmes. So he is saying it is the original model. Which again makes sense. This film was set 20 years after the events of Alien. So it makes sense that they'd be doing stuff like that. So the conversation led directly to a shocking reveal in Alien Romulus, one that's been kept out of trailers and even the film's Comic-Con panel, as the characters make their way through the titular derelict space station. Newcomers Rain and her synthetic brother Andy come upon a half-destroyed android. This talking torso looks exactly like Home. It's not quite. Again, I like the film, but that was some wonky-ass CG. Who played the android Ash in the original Alien. So Home died in 2020, but that didn't present a practical problem since Alvarez already intended to build an android torso rather than employ a visual trick like having an actor imitate being cleaved in half by standing through a hole in a table, as Home did in the 1979 film. But the first thing that the director did after that conversation with Scott was reach out to the late actor's estate. And this is lovely. So he spoke to the widow. So the whole thing started with me calling the estate and talking with his widow. She felt that Ian was given the cold shoulder by Hollywood in the last years of his life, that he would have loved to be part of more projects after The Hobbit, but he wasn't. So she was thrilled about the idea of having him back. That's lovely. That's really nice. And you know what? Ian Holm is a great actor. And he wasn't in enough stuff. So, again, we can all hate it and we can think it's disrespectful, I guess. But, you know, if what Alvarez is saying is true, we don't know, but if, good. If the widow genuinely believes he would have loved it, great. Genuinely, great. To be clear, the character with Holmes' likeness in Alien Romulus is not exactly Ash. The new film was set between the events of Alien and Aliens, meaning that Ash has already been destroyed by Ripley, along with the rest of the spaceship destroyed. The Alien Romulus character is named Rook, alluding to the chess metaphor suggested by Bishop, but shares the same basic template. He has his likeness, but he has a different demeanour. Rook and Ash have the same knowledge, because it's all Mother. And I wonder where Mother gets her knowledge from, eh? David, perhaps? It's a different android, but it's the same consciousness of Mother that moved from one android to the other. Now, that's interesting. So he seems to think it's Mother working through Ash and Rook. Very interesting. So it says here, sorry. So the creation of Rook was achieved through a combination of animatronics built to resemble Home and actor Daniel Betts performing his lines. This ability of filmmakers to bring dead actors back to the screen through technology is still relatively new, but it was a priority for Alvarez to check in with Holmes' family. As soon as we finished the rough version, the first thing I did was a call with all of his family to make sure they were the first ones that saw it. It was a very, very emotional call. They lost him not too long ago, and I lost my dad too, around the same time. So I could relate to their pain and also their excitement to see him back in the movie. I'm super proud of how we did it and how we worked with them. I can't wait for the fans to lose their minds at seeing one of their favourite faces from the original. So look, I mean, obviously he thinks it's going to be well received. Again, I settled into it, but I mean, it was bloody rough. Like, that first shot was bloody rough. It was an audible oof. Yeah, it was rough. But hey, look, that's how they brought him back. Animatronics. I reckon if they just did animatronics, it would have been better. Like, genuinely. I don't know. Anyway, that's how they done it. Very respectful as well. Leave your thoughts down below. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear. Does this change your opinion of it in any way? How they went around it? The fact that he genuinely thinks people would like it, etc., etc. Leave your thoughts there. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.